Okay, what's up, everyone? Today, well, I have my Kubert school class today, and we're going to be going over this page. This is my homework right here. Whoops. There it is. Now, if you turn it in early, which I've done, you get your critique back. So what I thought I'd do today is actually just show you a little bit of my critique. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this page, we're going to take it and duplicate it. There it is. And then we're going to rename it. And we're going to call this corrected. And this is kind of why you take these classes, by the way, is it's very hard to like learn a skill like comic art because you have to kind of, very few people just come right out of the gate just like I read a comic and now I know how to do it, right? That even if you know how to draw, even if you're a great artist, and as evidenced by the last 30 years of comics, you can be an incredible artist and not make good comics. That's just how it is. I don't think there's been a good comic made in the last 30 years, with the exception of, you know, Keith Giffen's Hordak. So I love saying that. I know it's going to trigger somebody. All right, 8. We're going to insert a photo, and the photo, in this case, is the corrected version. I already got an email. Aha, there's my photo, and you can see it's already on there. It matches up perfectly. And this is what you get. You get a correction. The correction is usually done over the top. I want to take it and kind of reduce the opacity. No, I'm going to keep the opacity up. Let's take a look at the first note right here. This says silhouette. Silo is silhouette, some foreground elements for depth. And what a great idea. So he's got a couple of pipes. Like this is after Crossfire has set off a huge explosion. Here's another foreground element right here. Now, I was smart enough to do the foreground elements. In fact, this one is a foreground element that I established. In fact, this one is too. But his point stands. That is a great tip. So what we're going to do, take this out. And let us try and... I'm going to put it over here under over here in front of Bubbles. We're going to go ahead and silhouette some of these elements. So let's take a look at where he put his, and then I'm going to try and copy it. Okay, he's got one up here. So what you're trying to do, like a lot of times with composition, is you're trying to make good framing and good triangles. Triangles and framing they go hand in hand. So in this case, look at this perfect frame that he put it in. Now I had these two right here, but I didn't have this one, and this is the one I think that pulls it all together and makes it look like a Dutch angled square here. So we're definitely going to put that in there. So let's go ahead and do that. I want to get a thicker line here. Oh, by the way, I'll show you the whoops. I'm going right over the top of my... Oh, now it's going to do a thing. I finished the drawing that I was working on yesterday, and I'll show you where I got with that, and turned it in, and you should see that in the next issue of Delver, hopefully, maybe, along with some other drawings that I did. But let's go ahead and silhouette some things and just see how it works out. It definitely does. It definitely does push the depth and the three-dimensionality forward, and I'm liking it. So let's add this one in too. These are real easy to do. Look how easy it is. I mean, because it's just a silhouette. So, and you can do a partial silhouette. Like maybe you could do a little bit of a white, like leave a little bit, tiny bit of a white outline to show some of the flames. But let's take a look. I'm going to take the his corrections out. Looking good, other than the fact that I don't have this very smooth, but it's okay. Ooh, it's really ugly over here. Let's go ahead and tighten that up. Now I have a rep for being pretty fast. um, among my cartooning peers. But I'm not fast enough to get this done before the 6 p.m. class, so um, I'm just going to have to go in and say thank you very much when he critiques me, and then nobody will ever see this corrected version, so why do it? Well, you do it for the experience, of course. This is exactly what you're paying for. This is called learning. So there we go. All right, that's a good note. Good note. Good note. We like it. All right, let's take a look at the next note. That's a nice positive thing. Nice environment touches. And he also wrote LOL at my joke here with having some of the debris fall on his head. However, if you take a look here, it says more expressive body language, and I can't help but agree. I was a bit stiff. And you can see he actually did a bit of a correction. We're not going to use his lines. Maybe we'll use some of them. Hang on. I'm on layer 28. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm whiting out. I'm not erasing, I'm actually whiting over my lines of the arms pose. And actually, we'll do the shoulders as well. And let's go ahead and try. We're going to try. Hang on. I'm looking at his arm again. Just want to make sure I understand where he's going with it. Alright, let's give it a shot. Whoops. I had my line weight way up high. This is probably some life drawing expertise that I'm missing out on, because I definitely missed that muscle and so on, and the size of the arm, and probably the length of the arm as well. That's what you get for drawing from imagination. But I refuse to stop. I think that drawing from the imagination is the way forward for me. However, I'm not too dumb to learn. How do we turn this into expressive body language? I'm going to have to, like, do this arm pose. Draw it in from scratch. I think one of the problems I see right here is this. My black line is going to throw me off, so I just want to leave just a hint of his blue line here. Alright, let's give it a shot. Oops. Hey, at least he laughed at my joke there with the, it's a visual joke, but it's nonetheless a joke. Oh, stop. Alright. Anyhow, if and you aren't afraid of this kind of critique, you should definitely take the class, because it only benefits you. And I got to thinking about this. You know, there probably was a time when I would have been kind of defensive over what I would think of as my skill, my great skill. The truth is, it's kind of like gunslingers. There's always somebody out there that's really good, you know? And it ain't you. But if you put the work in, you never know what's going to happen. I'm not sure if I got this correct, but let's go ahead. We're gonna keep going with it. Let's go ahead and continue on. I think we at least corrected the this arm is too long problem. So the arm previously the hand extended all the way out to here, so it was like kind of like an extra hand's distance on your arm, which may not seem like much, but it's a little much. In my defense, there's always kind of been some anatomical irregularities in comics in the Silver Age. It's a lame excuse. I want to... His thumb should be... His thumb is back. Thumb is not the right size. Oh. That's the original thumb. Maybe I'm not too far off. Maybe I'm just recreating my own problem. Well, it can only help if you work through the issue. So let's go ahead and... I think... Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, now his suggestion is to have the other arm going up instead of down. And to do that, I think I have to untangent this area. Just basically erase this whole area. Make sure that the when you're looking at a guy holding a gun from below, I don't have a gun handy to me that I can just pick up and model. Oh, I'm gonna have to erase some of my great mirth here. Hang on. Some of my joke going away. I have to keep reminding myself I can't use the eraser because the eraser will just erase the layer. I'm actually just trying to add new lines, so I'm using white, like whiteout, as my eraser. Now, one thing I could do is I'm not committing to this yet, but I could take this gun and point it this way. Is that better? If it's pointed that way? I think it's better. Alright, so we turned it we turned it a little bit to the side. We've got to erase this piece right here. And by the way, the teacher in this is Gavin Smith, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I really appreciate all the effort he did to go through and critique my page. Alright, so we got that and that. He had a general note about my flames. I don't know if if they're fixable at this level. Now he has the flames down here. I think we're okay on these. We'll just say they're okay. They're probably not. I need to... That's like something you need to learn, and I'm just trying to figure out. Maybe I could just put some more effort into that in the future. But let's take a look at the second one. He likes the shadow higher. I had the shadow lower. He's right, because... Now here's my logic, just in my quick defense, not trying to make an excuse. He's above the figure, so I thought the shadow would be below the guy. However, let's go ahead and do it the way he has it. First of all, let's white out what's not going to be there. I don't like this line. I put it in there as just a texture line. And some of these lines are, they're like wuss lines. They're like, you know, this is where I wussed out a bit. I'm taking a look at, I think that red line is unintentional. I think he was just kind of just drawing over it. Okay, let's take a look. Now he likes putting the head up here. By the way, I got another question. What is the brush that I'm using? I use the Rusty Nib from True Grit Texture Supply. And the reason I use that brush, as opposed to any other brush, is because it is distressed and looks grungy. You can see how grungy it is. I left a bunch of trash on there, but that's because real life is grungy. Real ink is grungy, and you know, if I was able to use real ink, and still have the speed, I would. That's one of those. It's not that I suck, but I kind of suck at it. You know, it's one of those. You gotta a little bit of a brow. There we go. So I know that's a bit of an excuse, but it would be cool if I could address every one of his critiques and have it turned in. But like I said, I have a reputation for being fast, but I'm not that fast. In fact, some of my reputation is very unearned. I'm only fast compared to other amateurs. And I am, at the end of the day, an amateur, so. Alright, so I messed up a little bit. Another joke that I had. So that was just move shadow. Let's take a look. I'm going to take off the correction layer. And I do think we're seeing some improvements. I do like this. I think I made my admittedly cartoon version of Crossfire to have a much meatier jaw. It's a tough guy. My vision of him as a tough guy. Alright, let's take a look on this. Now I can tell you some of this. Let's start over here. Looser with flames, feel stiff. Okay, so that means I did it stiffly and I should go looser if I can. So am I on the right layer? I'm on the right layer. So looseness is a boy, that's one you can only learn by instinct, where you know I'm already it's an unlearning. It's like don't draw hard. Draw it loose. Just relax a little bit. Put in less effort. But that is what looseness really entails. If you're over rendering, and everybody's seen the sort of high school era art where somebody's just going for it on the shading and the toning of something, and it just doesn't look good. There's something off about it. Or like cross-hatching, another place where you can just get hammered. If somebody goes too hard on it, it never looks good. I'm looking at my shit here. Yeah. Boy, I'm kind of embarrassed to look at it now, you know, when he points it out. The flames do look under-rendered. Line weight issues. I got all the problems. Now, even after you get all these corrections, does that mean you get a perfect page? No. All it means is you corrected the issues that the instructor was kind enough to point out to you. And that don't mean you got a perfect page. But you know, it's baby steps. You can't control for everything. So when they do give you criticisms, take them seriously. Take them seriously. See what you can do to, even if you don't agree. See if you can make it work their way. See how that works. All right, these flames are indeed a bit sucky. Apologies to the great Shane Davis, who's posting. He's posting images of these are alt covers done by John Cassidy and one by Frank Miller that have been somewhat controversial in comics because they're drawn in a style that is not. Some would say it's a poorly drawn style. Some people have even asked, has John Cassidy had a stroke? What's up with Frank Miller? What the hell's going on? Because they don't look like the over-rendered style that we have now for most comics. They don't look like that. And indeed, the Frank Miller one doesn't look a whole lot like the best years of Frank Miller or the Bronze Age years of Frank Miller. A whole lot. Until you start looking at SimCity, it's like, well, it kind of fits in with the SimCity look, so, you know. It's not that far off. The John Cassidy one, it's got Wolverine with his arm at a bad angle, you know. But you know, I was looking at it and I'm thinking, like I said, I wrote in this comment, I said, I will take 1,000 pages of that comic drawn like that over any comic being made right now. Where they've got all the, like, everything's super overly rendered and the buildings are all done with SketchUp and shit like that, you know, because comics don't look good anymore. Do current comic artists even go back and they always say nice things about, like, Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby and Joe Kubert and so on. They say nice things, but the way that they draw is 100% different, and they say, well, influenced by them, but I'm doing this, and they're going for the super high rendered look. And those are the ones that can actually draw. Then there's a lot of them that are just like kind of just tracing shit, and then they, they'll trace a stiff action pose, or they'll lightbox a photo. Not the pros, but I'm talking, your second tier, third tier, maybe further down. There's definitely a use of those assets. Somebody even got in an argument with, you wouldn't even know when people are using assets. The fuck I wouldn't, man. I know when they're using them. And I don't like it. Alright, hold on. Let's get this right here. And I'm not saying I'm perfect either, but dang. Alright. Like I said, I would take 1,000 pages of that over what we got right now in a heartbeat. And I said, there's a reason why Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and ElfQuest were the ones that caught people's imagination. And it's not because they were drawn to look ultra realistic or super high renders. In fact, every once in a while somebody will try and do like the super high render of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it never looks right. It never looks good at all. Alright, let's take a look. What's the other criticism? I think we made an attempt on the flames. An attempt was made. Alright, white out your light beam. Clear, it adds... Yeah, okay, alright, let's do that. I'm on the right layer. We're just gonna white it out. We're gonna take out some of the things. He also corrected my figure, so that's definitely a correction as well. definitely worth a look. So I'm gonna have to redo the figure as well. All right. I would assume that if you were a actual, dang it, what is happening? If you were an actual, like, let's say you're a pro comics guy, if the profession even exists anymore, which I'm not 100% convinced that it is. I don't care what anyone says. I would assume that getting corrections like this would be part of the dang deal, right? You would have to, like an art editor especially, or an art director would come in and say, okay, fix this, and fix this. Especially if you're a bit of a noob like I am. I'm not just a bit of a noob, I'm a huge noob. All right. I'm going to battle in the trenches here. All right, so let's go ahead and white this out too. I wanted to show the movement of the drone. I wonder if I can, hold on. All right, among other things I'm looking at. This was supposed to be like an exhaust trail. And I don't know what I was thinking. I was kind of thinking like Green Goblin's hover bat thing. All right, let's go ahead and just fake in some more lines here. I've been thinking about doing a webcomic. I mean, I'm already all my comics are already webcomics. If you go to Instagram and you follow RabbitFighter13, I post every comic there. He says, nice, thank you. Looser with flames. Oh, fix this figure. Once again, arms too long. Also, this is what I call a partial silhouette, because it's a silhouette, but showing the some of the light and costume details. I was kind of influenced by how they used to draw the, remember when the X-Men would wear the black costumes? Or I guess they were supposed to be blue, or I think they might have meant to be black. But the way they would render them was they would render them in black ink. But sometimes they would just white out the X. So in this case, Crossfire has a literal cross on, and I was trying to sort of white out that area. Oh, that arm is too big. Well, now I'm sad for the length of the arm that I had before because it was even longer. Alright, let's see, let's say that this hand, hang on. Let's say that this hand is closer in because we're doing some foreshortening, but it's the, what's the opposite of foreshortening when you make something smaller in the distance? And now he's got this massive forearm, what's going on with that? Oh no. I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger. Alright, we're gonna try and sculpt the hand back out of the mess that I've just made here. Oh shit, I forget, it's not an eraser. Alright. So there we go. That little white line. I think that's my detail line. But we're also going to put a white. If you were surrendering, I would think that your hands would go up like this. Like you wouldn't relax your hands on a surrender. You would thinking about the emotional state. You should make the everything match. That's like I added an extra knuckle to the thumb here. Alright. Oh, come on, man. Give me a black. Give me black. This is one of those corrections I'm not going to have it right for a while. Alright, we're right at 31 minutes. Okay, I've got class in just a couple hours. I'm very much looking forward to it. The corrections are not going to get done for class. They're just going to be for my own benefit. But maybe for your benefit. Maybe you appreciated watching me try and work through this stuff, or maybe it changed your mind about getting critiqued yourself. Maybe you felt uncomfortable with the idea that somebody would come over and just draw all over your precious artwork. But you know, sometimes it helps. Alright. Please like, follow, and subscribe. And I will see you later.